First contact shock. The stars seemed to bend inward at a single point in the void, distorting like ripples on a still pond. With a flash of blue-white light that briefly outshone the nearest sun, the UES Thunderchild tore through the fabric of space and emerged into the heart of alien civilization. Captain Ilara Chen stood on the command deck, her dark eyes focused on the massive crystalline structure floating before them. 40 years of secret human preparation had led to this moment. Her uniform bore the insignia of the United Earth Defense Force, an organization whose existence remained classified to all but a few thousand humans back home. All systems nominal after transition, Captain, reported Commander Rashid, his fingers dancing over holographic controls. Structural integrity at 98%, shields at full capacity. Life support and propulsion systems green across all decks, added Lieutenant Quan from her station. We've arrived exactly on target. Chen allowed herself a small, satisfied nod. Broadcast our arrival message on all frequencies as planned. Let's make it clear we come in peace, but let's also make sure they understand we're not to be trifled with. The Galactic Council Station Harmonious Unity hung before them like an impossible sculpture of crystal and light. Nearly 12 kilometers across, it housed representatives from over 300 sentient species. None of them were expecting humans to arrive today, or for the next century, according to their own intelligence estimates. They're hailing us, Captain, Communications Officer Rodriguez announced, surprise evident in his voice. They're using 47 different communication protocols simultaneously. Pick the most sophisticated one our systems can interface with and establish a link, Chen ordered. Main view screen. The screen flickered to life, revealing a being that resembled a cross between a mantis and a jellyfish. Its translucent body pulsed with bioluminescent patterns that the ship's AI was already analyzing as a secondary form of communication. This is High Administrator Vextal of the Galactic Council Station Harmonious Unity. The translation came through with only a slight delay. Unidentified vessel, you have entered restricted space without authorization. Your design does not match any registered species craft. Identify yourselves immediately. Captain Chen stepped forward, her posture perfect and her expression resolute. This is Captain Ilara Chen of the United Earth Defense Force vessel Thunderchild. We represent humanity and Earth. We come to establish diplomatic relations with the Galactic Council. The aliens' luminous patterns flashed chaotically for a moment. The equivalent of a shocked gasp, their AI helpfully noted. Impossible. Vextal finally responded. Earth is a Category 3 pre-spacefaring world under observation protocols. Your species is not scheduled for contact consideration for at least 90 more planetary orbits. Chen allowed herself a small smile. It seems your observations missed a few things, High Administrator. We've been aware of the greater galactic community for nearly 40 Earth years, since we detected your observation satellites in our outer system. Rather than announcing this discovery, we chose to accelerate our development timeline. The bridge crew maintained their professional composure, but pride radiated from every station. The Thunderchild represented humanity's greatest achievement, a warship that could stand toe-to-toe with anything in known space, developed in complete secrecy through reverse engineering of recovered alien technology and humanity's own ingenuity. Request permission to dock and present our credentials. Chen continued smoothly. We bring greetings from United Earth and wish to apply for observer status within the Council. After several moments of apparent internal struggle, the High Administrator responded, permission granted, but under strict protocols. You will be met by a security delegation. Your vessel is significantly larger than our standard diplomatic berths. Proceed to Military Dock 7. The transmission ended, and Chen turned to her crew. And so it begins. Commander Rashid, take us in. Quarter impulse. Dr. Okafor, are the diplomatic team's neural translators ready? The ship's chief scientist nodded from her station. Yes, Captain. They'll understand anything said in any of the major council languages. though I suspect our unexpected arrival has already created quite a linguistic stir. Good, Chen said, moving to the view screen to watch as they approached the massive station. Lieutenant Reyes, maintain defensive readiness at condition yellow. I don't anticipate hostility, but let's not be caught unprepared. As the Thunderchild approached the docking port, traffic around the station seemed to freeze. Hundreds of alien vessels altered course to give the human ship a wide berth. News of their arrival was clearly spreading fast. They're scanning us intensively, Captain, reported the sensor officer. Multiple wavelengths, including several our systems can barely detect. Let them look, Chen replied calmly. Our hull composition will give their scientists plenty to puzzle over. The Thunderchild's exterior was composed of a carbon-titanium nanomaterial lattice that Earth scientists had developed after discovering fragments of an alien scout ship that had crashed in the Gobi Desert. The material could absorb or reflect most energy weapons and self-repair minor damage. As they neared the massive docking bay, Chen addressed the bridge crew one final time before they would make history. This moment has been in preparation since before many of you were born. Earth has worked in secret, unified in purpose despite our differences, to ensure we would not enter the galactic stage as supplicants or subjects, but as equals. Today, we show the stars what humanity is capable of. The docking procedure went smoothly, the Thunderchild's systems interfacing perfectly with alien technology that should have been completely foreign. As the airlock sealed and atmospheric compatibility was confirmed, Captain Chen led the first diplomatic team towards the welcome party. The delegation that greeted them consisted of 7 different species, all observing the humans with expressions that translated across biological boundaries as shock and wariness. The lead representative stepped forward, a tall, avian being with iridescent feathers and 4 arms. I am Council Security Director Zirkesh. It announced, its voice melodious even through the translation. Your unexpected arrival has caused considerable concern. We have many questions. As do we, Director, Chen replied with a respectful nod. We look forward to an exchange of information that will benefit both humanity and the Council. As they were escorted through the station, the human delegation couldn't help but marvel at the diversity of life forms moving through the corridors. Some floated on cushions of manipulated gravity, others slithered or crawled, while still others moved on various configurations of legs or pseudopods. They were led to a large chamber where representatives of at least 20 species waited, arranged in a semicircle of floating platforms. At the center was High Administrator Vextal, now wearing ceremonial adornments that pulsed with light. Representatives of Earth, Vextal began. Your presence here contradicts all established protocols for species advancement. The Council has monitored thousands of worlds through their development. None have ever detected our presence, let alone developed technology to reach us without assistance or invitation. Captain Chen stepped forward. With respect, Administrator, perhaps that says more about your monitoring methods than about the species you observe. Humanity has always adapted quickly when faced with challenges. When we found evidence we were not alone, we chose to prepare rather than panic. A being that resembled a collection of crystalline rods connected by fluid-filled sacs floated forward. I am Science Elder Kavosh of the Meritocracy of Aligned Minds. Your vessel employs technology that should be beyond your development stage. Our preliminary scans indicate at least 7 distinct technological approaches that no single Council race has mastered simultaneously. Humans take different paths to solve problems, explained Dr. Okafor, stepping forward beside her captain. We do not follow linear technological progression. When we encounter obstacles, we innovate around them. The tension in the chamber was palpable. Several representatives were clearly alarmed by humanity's unexpected capabilities. Others showed signs of curiosity or even admiration. The massive being with gray, stone-like skin and glowing red eyes spoke next, its voice rumbling like an avalanche. I am War Patriarch Gornath of the Krell Imperium. Your vessel bears weapons signatures unlike anything in our database. You claim to come in peace, yet arrive in what is clearly a warship. Captain Chen met the imposing alien's gaze without flinching. The Thunderchild was designed to protect Earth in a galaxy we knew little about. We hoped for friendship but prepared for the alternative. In our history, those who enter new territories unprepared rarely survive to regret their optimism. This statement caused a ripple of reactions throughout the chamber. Some representatives recoiled, while others leaned forward with interest. High Administrator Vextol's bioluminescent patterns pulsed rapidly. Captain Chen, while your arrival is unprecedented, it is not entirely unwelcome. The Council values diversity of thought and approach. However, there are protocols that must be followed, assessments that must be made. We understand, Chen replied. Earth is prepared to undergo whatever evaluations are customary. We seek to join the galactic community as contributors, not disruptors. As the formal introductions continued, Commander Rashid quietly approached Captain Chen. Captain, our security team has detected unusual communications patterns among certain council representatives. The AI analysis suggests some factions are significantly more alarmed by our arrival than they're showing publicly. Chen nodded almost imperceptibly. Keep monitoring. This reception is going as well as could be expected, but we knew not everyone would welcome our arrival. What none of the humans could know was that in secure chambers throughout the station, emergency meetings were already being called. The unexpected appearance of a technologically advanced Earth had disrupted countless predictions and plans. For some council species, this represented an exciting opportunity. For others, it was nothing less than an existential threat. As the formal reception moved to a cultural exchange hall, Captain Chen couldn't help but feel they were being assessed not just as potential allies, but as potential enemies. The game of interstellar politics had begun, and humanity's opening move had just overturned the board. Proving humanity's worth. 3 days of diplomatic meetings had left Captain Chen exhausted but cautiously optimistic. The Thunderchild remained docked at Harmonious Unity Station, while various council scientific teams practically tripped over themselves requesting tours and information exchanges. Some council members had proven surprisingly welcoming, particularly the Ventari Communion and the Epsilon Collective, species that had themselves risen to spacefaring status more rapidly than their peers. The diplomatic courts will be pleased, Commander Rashid observed as they reviewed reports in Chen's ready room. Initial resistance is giving way to curiosity, at least among the scientific community. Don't be too confident, Chen cautioned, studying a data feed from Lieutenant Ray's security team. Our AI's analysis of council communications suggests the military factions, particularly the Krell Imperium and Jith Hegemony, are deeply concerned about our capabilities. They've doubled security around our ship and are running continuous scans. Dr. Okafor entered, her expression animated. Captain, you won't believe what I've learned about council technological development. It's fascinating. They follow almost identical innovation patterns across species. There's a regulatory body called the Technological Progression Committee that actually restricts development paths. Restricts. Chen raised an eyebrow. Elaborate. They believe there's an optimal sequence for technological advancement. Species that deviate are guided back to the approved path. It's why they're so baffled by our ship. We solved the same problems using completely different approaches. The conversation was interrupted by a priority alert. Lieutenant Rodriguez's voice came through the comm system, tense and urgent. Captain, to the bridge immediately. We have a situation. Chen and her officers moved quickly, entering a bridge already on high alert. The main view screen showed 3 vessels of unfamiliar design approaching the station at high velocity. Unknown vessels, no transponder signals, reported Lieutenant Quan. They're ignoring all hails from the station. Weapons signatures detecting. Energy levels rising. Red alert. Shields up. Chen ordered instantly. Inform station security. Already tried. Captain. Rodriguez responded. Communications with the station are being jammed. These ships are employing some kind of regional interference field. Chen's mind raced through the possibilities. Are they council species? Negative. Rise answered from tactical. Configuration matches nothing in the database we've been given access to. Wait, the station's external defenses are powering down. They appear to be hit by some form of targeted electromagnetic pulse. The realization struck Chen immediately. This isn't random. Someone's using our presence as a distraction for an attack. She straightened in her command chair. Battle stations. Lieutenant Reyes, arm quantum torpedoes and particle lances. Do not fire unless I give the command. The unknown vessels closed rapidly on the station's main habitat ring, where thousands of civilians from hundreds of species resided. They're firing, Quan called out. Streams of red energy lashed out from the lead ship, striking the station's now undefended hull. Explosions bloomed in silence against the backdrop of space. Council defense vessels are launching, but they'll never intercept in time, Rashid reported grimly. Chen made her decision in an instant. Helm, intercept course. Maximum impulse. Get us between those attackers and the habitat ring. The Thunderchild surged forward, its advanced drives pushing it to speeds that left the bridge crew pressed into their seats despite the inertial dampeners. In seconds, the massive Earth vessel had positioned itself directly in the line of fire. Broadcasting on all frequencies, Chen ordered. Unknown vessels, this is Captain Ilara Chen of the Earth vessel Thunderchild. Cease your attack immediately or face defensive action. The only response was a barrage of energy weapons fire now directed at the Thunderchild. The shields flared brilliant blue but held firm. Shields at 92%, reported Reyes. Their weapons are powerful but not unexpected. We can take this. We're not here to take it, Chen replied firmly. Target their weapons arrays only. Precision strikes, minimal yield particle lances. The Thunderchild responded with surgical precision. Brilliant white beams lanced out from multiple points on the human vessel, slicing through the lead attacker's weapon emplacements with devastating accuracy. The enemy ship veered away, trailing atmosphere and debris. Second vessel changing course, attempting to flank us, Quan reported. Let them try, Chen said with quiet confidence. Deploy countermeasures Sweet Theta. From the Thunderchild's hull emerged dozens of small, autonomous drones. Each was barely larger than a human fist, but they moved with incredible speed and coordination, surrounding the second attacking vessel and emitting targeted electromagnetic pulses that disrupted its systems. The third vessel is attempting to escape, Rashid observed. Not without identifying themselves, Chen decided. Disable their engines, but ensure they can maintain life support. A quantum torpedo, a weapon completely unknown to Council species, streaked away from the Thunderchild, detonating precisely at a calculated distance from the fleeing vessel. The space-time distortion temporarily disrupted the ship's propulsion systems without destroying the vessel itself. The entire engagement had lasted less than 3 minutes. Council defense forces approaching, Rodriguez announced, and station communications are coming back online. We're being hailed by High Administrator Vextal. The administrator's image appeared on screen, bioluminescent patterns flashing in what the AI now recognized as patterns indicating extreme distress and gratitude simultaneously. Captain Chen, Vextal began, I am personally, in your debt. Those vessels belong to the Skoro Dominion, a species that has repeatedly rejected Council membership and peace overtures. They have attacked isolated outposts before, but never dared strike at a major Council facility. Are your people safe? Chen asked, concern evident in her voice. Thanks to your intervention, casualties are minimal. Our defensive systems were compromised by agents already aboard the station. Had you not acted? The administrator's patterns shifted to colors indicating deep contemplation. Had any other new species been present, the outcome would have been far worse. Over the next hours, as Council security forces secured the damaged areas of the station and took the disabled Skoro vessels into custody, Captain Chen received a steady stream of messages from representatives who had previously been skeptical of humanity's arrival. War Patriarch Gornath has requested a private meeting. Commander Rashid informed her with barely concealed surprise. His exact words were, "The humans fight with both honor and wisdom. This must be discussed." Chen nodded. "Schedule it for tomorrow. First, we should assist with rescue operations. The Thunderchild's crew deployed to help with repairs and medical aid. Human engineers adapted their tools to work on alien systems with remarkable speed. The ship's medical team, led by Dr. Okafor, worked alongside council physicians, developing treatment protocols for injured species on the fly. By the time the emergency was contained, the mood toward humanity had shifted dramatically. What had begun as suspicion had transformed into cautious respect or even admiration among many council factions. 2 days later, Captain Chen stood before the full council assembly, a privilege typically granted only after months of diplomatic negotiations. High Administrator Vextal presided, flanked by representatives from the 12 founding species. "The events of recent days have forced us to reconsider many assumptions," Vextal began. "Humanity's response to the Skoro attack demonstrated not only technological capability but ethical judgment. You could have remained neutral in a conflict not of your making. Instead, you placed yourselves at risk to protect others, many of whom had questioned your very presence among us." War Patriarch Gornath's massive form leaned forward. "The Krell Imperium acknowledges the warrior spirit of Earth. You built a vessel of war, yet used it with precision and restraint. These are the actions of a civilization worthy of respect." One by one, representatives spoke, most offering cautious support for accelerated integration of Earth into council affairs. Even those who remained wary acknowledged the need for close cooperation rather than isolation. When it was her turn to speak, Captain Chen stepped forward, aware that her words would be transmitted back to Earth and studied by historians for generations to come. "The people of Earth thank you for your recognition, but we seek neither special treatment nor undue influence. We come to the galactic community bringing different perspectives and approaches, yes, but also a sincere desire to learn from those who have traveled the stars far longer than we have." She paused, looking around the chamber at the incredible diversity of sentient life. Humanity's history is marked by both conflict and cooperation, by moments of profound darkness and shining achievement. We know well the dangers of technology without wisdom, of power without restraint. It is precisely because we understand these dangers that we approach this new frontier with both confidence and humility. What Earth offers the Council is not merely our technology or resources, but our unique perspective. We solved problems differently because we had to, isolated on our world. Now we hope that same innovative spirit can contribute to challenges facing all sentient beings. The chamber remained silent when she finished, until High Administrator Vextal's patterns shifted to a configuration that indicated formal acknowledgement and respect. "Captain Chen, the Council acknowledges humanity's petition for observer status. In light of recent events, we have taken the unprecedented step of approving accelerated consideration for provisional membership, effective immediately." The implications were enormous. Earth would gain access to Council databases, trade networks, and protection protocols decades before the standard integration timeline would have allowed. Later, as Chen returned to the Thunderchild to send her report to Earth, Commander Rashid joined her in the observation lounge. Through the viewports, they could see repair teams working on the station's damaged sections, humans and aliens working side by side. "Not exactly how we planned our introduction," Rashid remarked. Chen shook her head, a slight smile on her lips. "Perhaps better. Words and diplomatic gestures can only convey so much. Actions reveal truth. Some Council species are still deeply concerned about us," Rashid cautioned. "Our technological approach threatens their understanding of how civilization should develop." The Jith representative was notably absent from today's assembly. "We expected resistance," Chen replied. "But we've also found potential allies. The Ventari ambassador has already proposed a cultural exchange program." She turned from the viewport to face her second-in-command. "Our mission was to ensure humanity enters the galactic community from a position of strength and respect. I'd say we've accomplished that. And what happens when the rest of the Thunderchild's battle group arrives next month? Rashid asked quietly. Captain Chen's expression grew serious. By then, the Council will understand that Earth seeks partnership, not dominance. But they'll also know that humanity will never be subjugated or dismissed. As they spoke, throughout the vast station, the representatives of hundreds of species were coming to terms with a new reality. The comfortable patterns of galactic politics had been disrupted by the arrival of these strange, resourceful beings from a previously unremarkable blue world. Humanity had arrived among the stars not as supplicants or curiosities, but as equals, different, unexpected, and impossible to ignore.